Hey, it's Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review. Going to talk about John Wick, Chapter 4. Sorry I waited so long to post my review. I saw it several days ago, but want to kind of sit on it for a while. Short version of my review is this is the best of the John Wick movies. It is the best action movie since Mad Max Fury Road, and I loved every minute of it. I will probably see it again in the theater, even with its length. That's my review. I think if you've seen the first three, you have to see this one. I think each of them have gotten better. I have friends who go like, well, the first one's better because I like the story better. And I don't disagree with any of those things. I think each one is kind of a unique case. But if you step back from all four movies, you see a crescendo, you see a storyline kind of come full circle. It really, to me, kind of like Marvel movies, you kind of have to take them considering everything that goes along with it, all that mythology. So I think the four movies are quintessential action movies of the 21st century. I think they've elevated action, especially in this newest one. The cinematography is off the charts. It looks like an Academy Award-winning film in every single scene. Amazing sets, practical effects, a lot of practical effects, and just cinematography is absolutely beautiful, from neon-soaked streets in Japan to some of the outdoor things in Paris. It is just a gorgeous movie from start to end. You have this choreography of brutal violence. I have a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, who's not a fan of the John Wick movies at all. He thinks they're boring. It's just nonstop action and stupid. For me, someone who was raised on Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, who grew up in the 80s and 90s with all those action movies, this is the elevation of that. This is the evolution of those movies now. We wouldn't watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie like he made in the 90s with the one-liners and all that. Sure, we have one-liners and we have some of the stuff, but if you go back and watch some of those movies, they're pretty dated. You need to update things. And John Wick is elevated. If you're not into harsh violence and long fight scenes, and absolutely, it's not your cup of tea. This is not who this review is for. You watch the John Wick movies. You love the John Wick movies. You want to know if the fourth one is worth seeing. Absolutely, without reservation, go see it immediately on the biggest screen with the loudest cinema sound you can get. If you can go to a Dolby Theater, go see it. If you can go to IMAX, go see it. Go see this on the biggest screen. Give them your money. Enjoy the ride. I consider action movies like this the roller coasters of modern cinema. I don't expect them to change my world. I don't expect to change my worldview. I expect to be entertained. And when this one goes so far beyond and trying to please you in every scene, they want to make the action something you haven't seen before. They want to make the drama something you haven't seen before. They want to take the mythology deeper into something you haven't seen before. From dressing up Scott Adkins in a fat suit as Killa and his amazing fight scene, this is a really tall, really good-looking guy who they put in a fat suit with gold teeth because it would be more strikingly interesting. And it was. He played the character great. I thought Donnie Yen is a scene stealer. He's an amazing actor. I've loved him for decades, and here he's getting his just due. Granted, a second American movie where he's playing a blind kind of assassin after the Star Wars Rogue One. Let's hope he doesn't get typecast, but Donnie Yen is amazing. Hiroyuki Sanada, amazing. There's a few newcomers in the movie, amazing. Again, I'm not going to get into spoilers and too much details. It's a 2-hour and 49-minute movie, 2 hours and 46 minutes. The Blu-rays and 4Ks are already up for pre-order. Matter of fact, Lionsgate has dropped the price. I think the 4Ks are about $26.50. The Blu-rays a little bit more than it should be. So you can pre-order it now if you don't plan to see it in theaters, but they're saying it's going to be later on in the year before they come out. I would go see this in the theater. That is my recommendation. Movies like this don't come along very long, and you deserve to see it in the best presentation possible. I can't wait to have it in 4K and watch it in Dolby Atmos at home, but I want to see it in the theater again. It was that good, that visual, that entertaining. For me, long movies aren't... When I was younger and getting into art films, I was like, 3 hours. Yeah, I want to submerge myself into this film. I'm not so much that these days. I'm short attention span like everybody else. And I had a slight trepidation when I sat down. I'm like, man, this is going to be almost 3 hours. I hope it's good. In Chad Stahelski, I trust. The director knows what he's doing. He has achieved something here with an action movie that has never been achieved before. It is an action epic on the level of some of our comic book epics, some of our sci-fi epics, some of our drama epics. It is an epic. And one of my reviewers online says it's way past due to give out Academy Awards for stunts and stuff. We should have been doing that, I don't know, since the 70s. And it's about time. The team has really gone above and beyond in everything in this film. The sound design, the cinematography, the writing. It's a great story. It's interesting. It keeps you engaged for almost 3 hours. From one set piece to another, it's almost a James Bond world tour. It's an amazing film. It is one that I have no reservations on recommending to someone who likes this kind of movie. Again, getting a lot of people getting shot in the head, hundreds of people dying in a film, that's not your cup of tea, then this is not your cup of tea. If you live on things like John Wick and The Raid, well, this is your cup of tea, and you will love every minute of it. I'll come back with a spoiler review because I want to get into the Continental. We're obviously going to have some spinoffs, some movies, some TV series and things like that, some past on Winston, who's one of my favorite characters in the movies. And we'll talk about a few other things that I can't talk about in this review. But it was number one at the box office over the weekend. It's the highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not the only one saying go see this movie. Again, movies like Mad Max Fury Road and this have elevated action to a new level. Go support them so they make more movies like this. Thank you to Keanu Reeves, Chad Stileski, and the rest of the crew. I'm thrilled with John Wick. I can't wait to see what the rest of the universe holds. Scott Hamilton, I'm ROCKFILE. My links are below. Thanks for taking time out of your day to listen to a podcast review of a movie that you probably should have gone to see already. Have a spectacular day.